We're gonna move forward.
What the fuck's going on, everybody? Holy, my face feels like fucked from the sun. It's all good though. Hopefully you can hear me. Yeah, I'm on Bluetooth. This should be good. So I got Alan Manson exposed, writing me a sorry friend. Just fucked. I mean, it sounds just like someone else who's messaged me in the past saying sorry friend. And then not too long ago, I got a comment saying it's nice to have kids around. I'm guessing it's because they can hear my kids in the background of the video. But then they talk about how if I need help getting my ex back to fucking use some guru, which is fine. It's not the first time this person fucking comments on my shit either. But it's like, you're gonna keep doing that, but if you're gonna keep advertising for this dude, because obviously it's an advertisement for that dude, you're gonna have to pay me, bitch. Pay me to be on my fucking channel, or else I'll fucking block you so you can't do it. If you want to, by all means. You know what I mean? Payment doesn't always have to be in the form of fucking money. There's many ways to pay someone, right? Meaning, subscribe to my fucking channel, give me a like on every video that you fucking decide to put a comment on. That's payment. I'll be fine with that. I'm happy with that. Comment on every one of my fucking videos if you want. Put that shit on there. I don't give a fuck. Won't matter to me. But, you know, transfer of energy. Let's go. Something has to be done. I'm not just gonna comment on my channel and promote that guy, which is probably you, under a different alias, or someone working for that guy under an alias. So, you know, you're gonna fucking comment and promote somebody else who helps people get back together, then that's fine. Just give me a like, give me a view, and subscribe. And we're cool. I'll let you do it on every video. I don't give a fuck. That goes for everybody and anybody. Anybody ever want to promote something on my channel? I mean, preferably, cool to run it by me first. I don't have that many subscribers, but it don't matter. You know, eventually I will. I'm working my way up there. I love the fact that I got 62 subscribers. And like I said, the 62nd one was me. Well, was my kid. But still my kid, still fucking part of me, still fucking counts. But anyways, and let's say I got 4 kids, so that's 4 of those that are straight up from my family. So that's 58 other subscribers. Say 57 for argument's sake. 57 other subscribers that aren't related to me or feel obligated to subscribe to me. And I mean, some of them probably don't even watch my shit anymore. I'm just one of the subscriptions sitting in their subscription file, but I'm okay with that. But anybody wants to promote something on my channel, immediately comments, want me to promote it. Same thing. Just fucking subscribe. Give me a like on every video that you want me to write a comment. Hey, Corey, promote this. And then I'll delete the comment after I see it. Like that fucking video. Fucking make sure you subscribe to me. Any other accounts you got, subscribe to me to those accounts, whatever matters. And then I will fucking promote whatever the fuck you want me to promote. You know, depending. If it's something I don't believe in, then that's fine. You know, you want me to promote an ideology? You want me to promote a fucking store that someone should visit? Fucking an online fucking magical store? By all means, man. You don't even have to subscribe or do me a like. Send me a fucking something. I don't care. An oil? An incense? Doesn't have to be much. You want me to promote your shit though? Fucking send me a t-shirt. I'll wear the fucking t-shirt. And I'll fucking say I get my gear from you. I'm a fucking DIYer, okay? I do shit myself. But when it comes to candles, incense, and oils, I don't. That shit, I've made some myself. Don't get me wrong. I made my healing oils myself. And, they're nasty. There's some fucking nasty fucking smelling shit. But I jam-packed as many fucking healing herbs in there. Boiled everything myself. Did it under the right planetary fucking times. For the right planetary fucking correspondences. And yeah, they might not turn out fucking pretty. Smell like fucking potpourri or flowers or lilac or any of those shits. But I'm telling you that they fucking work. And, you know, to each his own, right? But I'm a DIYer. But it doesn't matter. You want to sponsor me? You want me to sponsor you? You want me to fucking promote you? Whatever. You don't have to send me much. You know. But, and I mean, this is not something I want to talk about. I was just starting to talk about something, and this is where my mind took me. So, you know. But keep that in mind. Anybody wants me to start promoting their fucking shit? 60 people. I mean, I get more views than that, especially on my podcast. Now, my podcast, you can't see me. But, you know, there's a thumbnail, right? I can always throw your shit up in the thumbnail every once in a while. You know, not every video, obviously, but every 5 videos, I'll throw you this. I'll throw your fucking logo up in a thumbnail. No issue. No fucking bloody issue. Do whatever the hell you want, you know? I don't need money. I don't need so much money a month. So anybody out there who wants some free advertising, and it's only going to cost them the cost of a box of incense or fucking one oil or even just a t-shirt for me to wear. Fuck, I'll fucking do it for you. Promote the shit out of you. You know? So, all that aside, sorry friend from the Alan Manson exposed. So, I hit Alan Manson exposed. There's an Alan Manson. She's got a channel. And I see some Christianity-based stuff, but it's versus Satan stuff. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense. I don't think it's the same guy. But, so, maybe he's playing a polarity game. He's got an alter ego. Alan, I don't know. It doesn't matter. The point is, judging by the Alan Watch channel, the Alan Mason channel, the Christian versus Satan stuff, and any of you with Outwitting the Devil book, where the devil says if the churches stop promoting, you're going to hell if you break commandments, and if you're a sinner, you're going to hell. If they stop doing that, people would stop believing in the devil, and they would do the worst thing ever. That's probably what he's beefing about. My guess. I don't know. I don't fucking care. It's fucking true, Mr. Alan Manson exposed. So get a fucking life. Check your fucking belief systems at the door. And fucking try to think outside the box, you stupid fuck. Wow, what did I just do? I don't give a shit. None of that shit bugs me. Sorry, friend. I don't know what that means. You know? Is that apology because you didn't believe me and now you do? Is it an apology because you're going to go do something bad about me, make a video about me? I don't give a fuck. Whatever the fuck you want. You know, I make videos about Thunder Wizard all the time. Does he give a fuck? No, he probably doesn't even know I'm on the map. Likewise, I'm not as big as Thunder Wizard. Not even fucking close. But, you want to think anything about me, but to me, you're not even on the map. So, suck God or Satan's dick, I guess. Pick which one. If you don't want to go to hell, suck Satan's dick. If you want to go to heaven, suck God's dick. If you want to do both, well, you know what to do. Suck both dicks. You fucking homo. Oh, I got nothing against anybody sucking dick or anybody who's gay. That was not a derogatory term or racist or gender or homophobic or any of that. So, I'm sorry I said those things. In my last video, too, I made a stupid comment saying chink-eyed, and I heard it after. I was like, man, that's terrible. So, I'm sorry to anybody who's of that nationality that I insulted. A stupid term from my youth that people used to say whenever someone looked really high. So, my apologies, because I shouldn't say shit like that. I should know better than that. I don't have anything against any fucking nationality, any gender, any race. I have things against people that are racist, that are against nationalities, race, religions. I mean, I might not be on the same board for like Christianity or what some of the things they've done. And even though I practice a form of Kabbalah at my Magick, I don't necessarily have the same ideologies or same beliefs as Judaism completely. But, you know, I'm not going to hate on them. I don't wish them dead. Anybody out there want to wish me dead from those people, well, good luck. I mean, if this guy wants to send hate energy at me, he's just going to get it back in his face. Aw. What the fuck? Don't do that. Ooh, sorry, my bad. You can say, oh, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It don't matter what you fucking think about witchcraft, what your fucking little bit of knowledge is on this shit. You don't have the first fucking idea of what I'm fucking capable of. So please don't underestimate me. And don't take that as a threat, because I'm not threatening you. What would happen would be your own negativity, your own wanting to harm people in the name of God, which is hypocritical, hypocrisy to the most ignorant sense of it. You would be harming yourself with your own fucking energy that you don't know or believe exists. So, by all means, but send the shit, as much shit as you want at me, as much negativity, as much bullshit, send as many angels as you want. I know I'm on first name basis with the angels, okay? The fucking archangels. So, go. They're protecting me way better than they're protecting you. So, you know, that's my fucking little spiel about your sorry friend. Holmes, we ain't fucking friends. Maybe one day we could, if you could decide to put your bullshit behind you, and we can have a good discussion about it, and agree to disagree, and you can come to realize realize that I'm not the kind of person who wants to harm anybody. In fact, I want to raise my kids in a good society and let them choose whatever religion and spirituality they want. I'm not going to force anything on my children. I'm going to give them all the knowledge that I have and hope that they gain even more knowledge than me and surpass me to the point where they have a problem that's so hard that I can't figure out for them, so I technically fail as a parent. But I don't fail as a parent because I got my kid prepared to be able to succeed through that problem. Therefore, I'm a failure because I couldn't help my kid, but I'm a success because my kid helped himself. Therefore, I was a good parent. That's my hope. So if that makes me a bad fucking person, well then, buddy, you're probably a piece of shit if that makes me a bad person. So go fuck yourself. Most people with these chips on their shoulders, self-righteous horseshit, they have a huge part of their life that they have no control over whatsoever. So they come out here on their fucking high horse and try to shit on everybody just to fucking make up for that point in their life where they can't control. They have no control over their fucking circumstances. Nothing. I come out here to try to tell people how to take control of their outside circumstances by controlling their inner circumstances. And what I promoted yesterday was how to, well, many things, but one is how to find your path and purpose, which I'm still trying to figure out, and we'll try to figure it out together, you know? But no one has to fucking wait for me to figure it out. They can all figure out themselves. What is it in your life that you really look forward to, that you really want to do, that screams out to you that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life? Like, what is it that you fucking have done? You wake up in the morning and that's all you want to fucking do, you know? What is that? And if you can figure out a way how to monetize that, well then that's most of the work. But if you're doing it just for the money, then you're going to be unsuccessful. That's why most Christians go to church every Sunday and they work a fucking job they fucking hate because they think that's the only thing they can do, and they're waiting for their retirement plan to kick in when they die. Yeah, when they die, they get reincarnated, they don't remember, and they just go on thinking that, oh, my fucking family's up in heaven, and it's like, you know, it's a nice pipe dream, and it's beautiful at a funeral when you're going to miss your loved ones to think that they're in some beautiful place and all that. It's great to tell the kids, but, you know, in all honesty, if we realize that there's nothing to fear at death, well, we'd all be absorbed by the real God or the real positive energy and wouldn't be in fear like, oh, maybe all these little things I did fucked me over, so I'm going to hell, and then we end up going to get absorbed by that negative fucking bullshit. You know, just sickening. I got no fucking any more fucking patience for any of that hypocritical horse shit that these motherfuckers are trying to fucking pass off or sell to anybody. It just, so feel free to keep watching my channel. You want me to promote some of your Christian shit? No? Send me some. I guess. No, I would promote your shit if you fucking paid me, you fuck. Although, oh, look at that moon. Tell me that's not fucking, you know, okay, you probably be able to see it, but it's fucking huge. You see that moon? That's huge. That's like enormous. And it's beautiful. Tell me there's not something special about that. That's Diana in all her fucking glory, okay? The great Diana. Fucking beautiful. Absolutely fucking remarkable. Blows my fucking mind.
All these pictures of the moon. It turned out pretty good. What the fuck is that?
Full moon tonight, everybody. I think it's 10:29 p.m. for me. And if you shall have need of something, best it be when the moon is full. You shall once a month gather in some desert place, blah, 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 blah. That's the gospel of the witches, but, oh man, Diana's beautiful. charge of the goddess, okay? If you want something and not to banish something, that's at the new moon. If you want to invoke something be called into your reality, now's the time. You know, I've already given information on this, how I exactly use the moon to banish and invoke what I need in life. And I mean, the moon is fucking proof of Christianity's imbalance. We have the sun and we have the moon, right? And I mean, Mary, if you want, that's Mary, okay? And the sign is, well, Jesus if you want, but it's not really. It's more like Jupiter. Personally, I think the Pisces, the fish and all that. But, you know, he was more empathic and everything else, more like a magician. But, nonetheless, right? King of the Jews, right? Well, King of the gods, King of kings, anyways, doesn't matter. But that's the Son of God that's born on the 25th, you know. He's back to life now, he's hotter again, but on the 21st, on the solstice, he died. For 3 days was resurrected. We celebrate, or Christianity celebrates on Easter. He's like, fuck, because that's when the sun actually becomes hotter, but still, I mean, it doesn't matter. Anyways, but right there, sun and the moon. Right now, the moon looks the same fucking size as that sun. And that doesn't happen all the time, not every single day. But when the moon is full, she's fucking just as big as that fucking sun is right now. I mean, sun over there, and moon. You probably won't be able to see it. And if I can, I'll fucking try to. Oh, fucking farm has to be there right now. Right? Alright, moon, where are you, baby? Where are you, baby? Oh, there you are. Oh, your glory. Can I see you? Can I see you? Did I get you in there yet? Fuck, I hope I do. No, I don't think I'm getting it. Oh, well, anyways, doesn't matter. But the point is, that's proof right there of the imbalance of fucking, of Christianity, man. Like, they don't worship. I mean, they do a hell of a lot of Hail Marys and all that, but they worship Mary. But they don't, I don't know, they want God to solve all their fucking problems for them. Pray to God. And it's God's willing to do it for you. But none of them are praying right. I mean, we figured this shit out. It's fairly fucking simple. You want shit, you present tense, put emotion in to the thought, or even the prayer. You don't need candles, you don't need incense, you don't need oils, you don't need all the garb and have a fucking altar in your own temple room. You can simply pray and fucking do the prayer properly in the present tense, say you're grateful to whatever God, even the ones in the fucking Old or New Testament, if you want, and you'll get what you want. As long as you put emotion into it, and you take the right action after. And then you let it go, and you trust in God to bring it to you. You'll be able to fucking do it. You stupid fucks. Sorry, that's not, if I have anybody who follows me who is of that pain, I'm not knocking you, okay? Straight up to that one guy for sorry friend, because I know he's got an issue. Might even be the same guy from a long time ago who was against Thunder Wizard, who attacked me and then was on my side and then was against me, and then recently enough tried to tell me that, ooh, watch out, Thunder Wizard's gonna shoot witchcraft at me, which never happened. If anything, my luck's been increasing phenomenally. I've already gotten 2 raises since I've been working this job. Not even, I'm sorry, it's been a month. 2 raises, like, fuck. You know, how does that happen? Witchcraft. Demons and devils are bringing it to me. Fuck, bullshit. I bring it to myself. I do magic internally, and when I can't manifest internally, I manifest externally. So, but, no, to the devil, you were meant to get a raise. You're meant to be broke ass. Yeah, okay. Real spirituals will be broke ass your whole fucking life. Like, where do they come up with this shit? Well, I know where they come up with this shit. They're doing the devil's bidding and they have no idea. Once again, if you are a Christian who is a witch or a magical practitioner, I got nothing against you. All the power to you. And if you do get around that and find the right way to pray, teach it. I'm sure there's a lot of Christians out there who want to fucking know how they can do this. I'm sure there's a lot that are attracted to this shit. I mean, straight up. How can there not be? Guarantee you there's a fuckload that want to know this shit. Guarantee. But, once again, there's certain things that might be harder to do if you have different programs put in, depending on how you were programmed. I mean, the Napoleon Hill book that I played yesterday was perfect because it teaches you how nature will put you in a hypnotic rhythm, meaning if you focus on something so much over and over again, it will literally create that as programming within you so that that's what will continue to manifest when you down. I mean, you can't make it any simpler than that. And you can use that same fucking principle to your advantage. Meaning, if you decide to do that, decide to fucking, oh, these fucking cars. You decide to fucking... Sorry, I don't know. If you decide to do that, use that to your advantage, and program yourself. I mean, that's what I teach. I teach how to program yourself continuously. Non-continuously. So I had to pass a bunch of cards. But I mean, that's what the magician's doing. He realizes his old programming, he banishes it, he invokes the new programming. He invokes spells, he invokes the money, prosperity, health, healing. He divines things to make sure that's the will of whatever. And I mean, sometimes that could be, I don't think that the wizard's wrong about that. Sometimes it could be in the way, but I think there's ways around it. I think if you get yourself in a relaxed state, you are, anyways, I'm glad I'm getting to that right now. I don't really have a direction in this video, except to say that moon is fucking beautiful, that sun is fucking beautiful, and every other planet, star. I mean, to believe in the Bible only, I think is a balance. I think you can use those allegories and myths and metaphors, as Jesus explained, to your benefit. And myth, allegory, and metaphor are not literal. I mean, and for someone to just come along and say to take it literally after being ever taught to not take it literally, they're meant to teach a story, like, it makes no sense. It makes no fucking sense. So, use it as myth, allegory, and metaphor. Simple as that. There's nothing wrong with that. I actually promote that. I'm not like the one to say all or nothing. Either you accept the Bible or you don't. No. Accept the stories. That's ancient stories. I'm telling you, the Bible, it's all purple around Diana right now. It's so fucking beautiful. I wish my camera could do it justice so I could show it to you. It's so big. She's surrounded by purple, like, and blue on top. It's so fucking magnificently, beautiful. You know, the sun's setting on that side, and it's got purple on this side. You know what I mean? What the fuck is that? And I know what it is. I know the scientific explanation, but, you know, it's not the same. Can you catch it? You see it? Is it pretty? It's like a fucking rainbow. Oh, there's the moon. There she is. Yeah, she doesn't look that big. And there's the sun over there. That high's hard to see. Anyway, sorry. I love astronomy. I love astrology. I've always loved the planets. My first book was The Night Sky, which taught me that Borealis, something like that, was the northern lights. And I learned about the planets and so much other shit. Just probably the beginning of what I'm supposed to know. But anyways, until something comes to me specifically, because I really want to get into spells. Like not like the theory anymore or anything like that, like specifically things that people can do, but I want to get, I'm going to go out of my way and fucking make something. Like, I want it to be something useful. I know it's one of these. Trust me, I don't doubt my systems or anything I've been fucking teaching. I don't doubt anything I do. That's not what I'm trying to say. I want to make sure it's like something that's been used a lot, has a lot of energy in it, it's going to be a no-brainer. So I kind of want to talk about something like that. Although I really wanted to add a format to my teachings or my channel, because I'm kind of just all over the place. Whatever I feel like talking about, I talk about, right? And I kind of want to have a direction. Like, this is how you start, this is how you fucking proceed, this is what follows, this is how you continue, this is what you do after this step. You know, I'd like to have it, like the Mystery School series is perfect for me that way. It doesn't have a specific way, but he teaches the things he's always more important and the things that add on to that. Now we've got a place where it's not everybody who can, all he can, and he does the paid programmings now after that, because we have many issues, behaviors, and all that too, so. There was another line of difference between the swine. No, don't cast pearls before swine. The soy friend is swine. You just eat all the pearls of wisdom. Anything I've ever said on my channel that's worth a fuckload, take it, you practice it, you're gonna get shit. Like using Diana to get whatever you want. Today, tonight, at 10:29, by going out there and adorning her, offering her a simple candle and incense. You write a spell on a candle, saying, I am so grateful. My spell, that's what I mean? I don't mean cast a spell on this fucking Christian fuck so he dies. No, I mean, writing on that candle, you're grateful that you got $3 grand in 2 days, 3 days, or 3 moons, or whatever you want. You know, make a run. Hope you're good. It doesn't have to be more elaborate than that. It can be that fucking simple. Get the goal and do it. You'll hear me, they'll go out there and they'll just fucking do it. They'll just fucking say, well, there's no way it's that easy. There's more to it than that. They won't do it, but I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna get the $3 grand. Whether it's gonna be another raise that's gonna add $3 grand onto my salary, whether it's actually gonna be $3 grand on a bigger ticket, whether it's gonna be 3 $1,000 checks, whether it's gonna be $5 or $6 $500 checks, whether it's going to be $12 $250 checks, like it doesn't matter. I'm gonna get it. And unless you write it down and remember it, you won't remember it, but you'll get a certified. Once again, if you don't take the time to bind down the action at one, you might get $3 grand for your income tax. That's coming up soon, right? Within like 3 months, maybe 3 months, right? But I generally get I get $5 grand on my income tax, except for when I did the spell for 10 grand, right? That's how I started. Well, my income tax was 10 grand for the first time ever, which is double when it was 5 grand. And that was before I had my daughter. Well, no, that's when I had my daughter. So, I mean, one kid does not, 3 kids give me $5 grand, and then having 1 newborn, bump me up a whole other $5 grand. No fucking way. And it was never a mistake, and I never had to pay it back. So, I feel like I missed the highway. Fucking hold on. No, alright. Woo, scared me there. But, so, for me to get $3 grand, that would be a decrease in my income tax. So, I say stuff like an additional $3,000 on top of my weekly check. On top of a whole bunch of things, right? That's what I do. So, just keep that in mind if you're going to do something like that. It's a nice amount of time to do it. What kind of color candle on the moon? It's water. Purple, like you see in the sky, she's the purple right now. Loving the purple. Fucking loving it. Blue on the bottom of it. Blue's perfect too. It's for water, right? Mary, the mother. Blue. Purple works. Black if you really want. I use black for everything. And then all you have is white. Well, white is universal. White is all the colors. White can be used for everything, but it's not as potent as usual. Scented or unscented, to me it doesn't matter. Now most people say unscented, but I've had just as much success. A 4-pack that's $1.25 on the dollar store. I've had more success, arguably, with that than unscented ones, and vice versa. Sometimes it's just a matter of me not doing things right, but candle really doesn't matter. I've never put much thought into if it's scented or unscented, that's going to change anything. I really don't give a fuck about that. Meaning, if I don't care about it, then it's going to work. So it doesn't matter. Anyways, I got to pee before I hit this highway, so I'm going to do that for the on-ramp. And I'll be back on whenever I figure out what I'm going to talk about. Maybe I'll just keep talking about what I'm talking about. Maybe I'll just keep talking about candles and candle colors and how I specifically write my shit on there and what sigils to do and what sigils not to do. Some universal sigil signs and maybe that's what I'm talking about. I don't know. But this is like a 20-minute ride now, and then I'm on my way to my clinic. Whatever. So yeah. Anyway, see you in a bit because you won't know. Anyways, look at that moon. I'm following that moon and that purple sky. It's beautiful. It's not big enough to show you the real thing, but it's fucking beautiful.
This is stupid as shit.
Holy fuck. What's going on, everybody? Laying on my bed. I'm just chilling. So, I've been recently, I'm smoking in my room. I know I shouldn't be. Anyways, recently I've been had a dream. I think it's where it came from, but I can't remember for sure. I can't even remember the fucking dream. I haven't been writing in my dream journal all that much either anymore. But, I did when I started. I started doing it when I started, then I stopped for a while, and then I did it like crazy, like to my extremes. And then now I just kind of took a break from that, because I'm waking up to go to work and whatever else. Doesn't matter. But anyway, so I had a dream, and I can't remember the dream because I didn't write it in my journal. For the most part, I can only remember my dreams, but I had like multiple dreams. Dreams within dreams and all that shit. So, but anyways, this was a few days ago, and since I had that dream, it was telling me to talk about winning the devil, Napoleon Hill, and it's just like, okay, I already did that, but there's so much to that book that it's like I could probably keep talking about that, just talk about it over and over and over and over and over again. And, I'd never be done, right? I could probably do it forever. It's seriously that deep of a book. I'm telling you. You never read it? Go listen to the fucking audio on fucking YouTube. You have to buy it. No one's doing. And if you're wondering, I'm tired. I'm really full right now. Anyways, then I'm listening to Katy Perry yesterday. Yeah, Katy Perry. She's got a lot of occult little symbolism, but that too in her videos. But a lot of, deeper meanings in her songs. Which, whether she writes her songs or not, I don't know. But someone's doing something right with her older songs. So, if you don't believe me, Dark Horse, first song I'll start with, E.T., Chained to the Rhythm, which is the one I'm going to talk about, Firework, fucking Wide Awake, Rise. That's just a start. There's more, but that's just a start. And I could actually make a video or multiple videos on that. But anyways, so after this, I made my episode yesterday and I didn't talk about it or I didn't even do anything with this, which is fine. My video turned out okay. I think I liked it. Well, I know I liked it. I listened to it a few times. So, but and then again, that's whenever Katy Perry came on and Chained to the Rhythm, and that's what reminded me of the Napoleon Hill thing again. I was like, oh, okay. So today, I was spending time going through Frater Xavier's videos once again, telling you, man, like, he gives you Kabbalah and work style transformation, and you're going to hear that today. I didn't do the entire videos, because they're further down the line. They're very important episodes in this mystery school. I think one's finding your path and purpose, and the other, the importance of finding your path and purpose, potentially, and the other one is something, finding your path, finding your purpose in a backward society or something like that. Back-to-back episodes. And the first one, that's where he tells you the book assignment he wants you to do is read the book Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. And that book fucking changed my life. It changed my outlook on everything. I swear to God, it did. And Napoleon Hill, even by the way he's writing in this book, you can tell he's polarized, or he was polarized, Christian-wise. But nonetheless, and even after that, I don't think he was anymore, which is probably why he was able to reach so much success. Now, if you listen to that book, or watch that book, or don't watch that book, if you read that book or listen to that book, the first half of it before the interview with the devil, or his version of the devil, which is why I say he's not really polarized by it, but he kind of is, but not by Christianity, but just what the devil, how the devil appears to him in his meditation, or whatever he does to be able to speak to the devil, isn't the traditional devil, but that's what he was expecting, and then the devil actually explains that, what he actually is. Now, who knows what this was, right? But it makes way more sense than the traditional devil of Christianity. A lot of people like to think witches and magicians worship the devil, but it's like, well, in all honesty, Satan and the devil are Christian or Judaism, Hebrew creations, potentially. I'm not sure if, everybody who wrote the Bible was probably Jewish, and then they put the books together and made the Roman Catholic Bible, or whatever the case is. Judaism still uses the Old Testament, so if there's any references in there to the devil, then I guess potentially you could say they did. But besides the point, I don't even know why I'm talking about that. But witches and magical practitioners, magicians, whoever, even if they worship entities that are Satan or try to speak to satanic entities, because, they've created that entity, so you can talk to it. It's a real thing. Now, whether or not it has the power that they say it does, that's up for debate, but it is a real entity. And just like anything else, you can worship entities. And so the satanic people that worship Satan, against anybody like that, right? Luciferian doctrine is very different, I find, though. But anybody who is actually worshiping Satan as the Christians portrayed him to be and created that thought form as that, well, these people are so against Christianity that they're worshiping an entity they created, So their God is the devil, and their devil is God, right, in a manner of speaking. Now, I don't believe that, but that's how some people talk about it and say that's what it is. It is as it is. None of that shit matters, okay? I'm not against anybody worshiping Satan. This doesn't bug me at all. You can probably get better results, too. And I got nothing against God of the Bible either. Doesn't bug me one way or another. But, this knowledge, I'm going to play the Frederick Xavier part. I'm going to play them both back to back for you. Okay? And like I said, it's about finding your passion and purpose. And then it's about why drifting off your passion and purpose is not good, especially when Saturn or Satan comes back around, and which is the reason why I started this journey. I think it definitely is part of it, because first Saturn return is like 29. And that's when all this started for me. And if you haven't done anything and you're not on your passion and purpose by age 40-something, well, then he's going to kick your ass. And then when it comes back around for that midlife crisis or whatever the case is, then, then it's going to be really bad. So, I'm tired. But the point of all this is to say that, and the one thing Frederick Xavier is going to say, he's going to say, this is deeper knowledge that should have been in the book. Okay, but I'll let him say it to you so you hear it and you hear the gravity of what he says. But this first initial perception of that is what really changed my thought process about evil, about archons, about inorganic beings, about all this shit. Whether that shit is true or not, okay? I tend to believe that there's evil and there's good. I know that. But I think the evil is what we create. I don't think it's within any other thing or whatever the case is. And if there is evil thought forms around, well, they were created by other humans, which still proves my point that other humans are the problem, not actually the evil entities that may or may not be out there. So yeah, let me just play Freighter's thing, and then I'll have fucking way more to say after that and dive right into it. I'm not really going to do like an hour some video, probably like 30-40 minutes, including the Freighter thing, but just so, because what I talked about yesterday, I want to elaborate on that. And even more than that, finding my passion and purpose has been like a goal of mine for a while. But right now I've been exploring construction and doing other things, and for whatever reason. But what I'm doing right now, recording, helping, teaching, something I really enjoy. It's something that I have trouble going without. So I don't know. I'm not high right now. If you're wondering, I don't smoke weed. My eyes are just chinky because I'm fucking tired of shit. But I'm just wondering. There's a few things Prater says in here about finding your passion and purpose. And one of the things he says, he had to meditate on a point on the wall. And what I gathered from what he said about that was, by doing the meditation, focusing only on a point and exploring all the facets of that point, he was able to figure out his passion and purpose from doing that exercise. And it's not necessarily that the point screams it out to him, it's that he's able to quiet his conscious mind so the subconscious can speak to you, which I've done as well, which the closest I get to getting told what my passion or purpose is that it's related to what I'm doing right now. Doing these videos and doing my podcast. But I don't get anything clearer than that I can interpret. So my goal is, as I figure this out for myself, I'm going to teach the methods that I use to figure it out so that you guys can use those same methods and let me know if they work or not for you. And I guess that'll be the point. Let's find our passion and purpose together, because in this time where everybody's focusing on this virus and things are going bad again and the world might shut down and time off and all that might be coming, well, there might be no better time than now for everybody to just start looking and quietening their mind and trying to find their passion and their purpose, so that when things are ready to restart again, that we can all be doing something we love rather than being miserable. You know what I mean? People enjoyed coronavirus time. Some people, because it was a change, they got to stop their daily life. A lot of people didn't want to go back to work, and that's sad that a virus that goes around quote unquote killing people, it's not the virus doing it, but you know what I mean, that there has to be this, this pandemic, let's say, to happen, and for some people just to escape from their life and make them happy, you know what I mean? Tragedy has to happen for other people to be happy. I know, it's fucked up, but if it's inevitable and it's happening anyways, well, I want to use it to our benefit. So every video that I talk about, I may not always talk about specifically finding my passion and purpose, but what I'm going to do is any exercises that I either create or remember or figure out, as I just did with the Frater Xavier thing, I will include it in my videos. Whether it's like whole videos, just me ranting about Thunder Wizard or something, or Ralph, or why this is wrong, and why you should do this. And at the very end, I say, oh, by the way, guys, I did this, and this helped give me another piece of the puzzle, something like that. So anyways, yeah, let's let Frater talk, and we'll go from there.
OBE, where you get up out of your body and walk around. They're similar, but that's different. That's an OBE. That's an out-of-body experience. A lucid dream has similar qualities, too, but that's still just a very vivid dream that you can take control over consciously. Okay, a full-blown astral projection is different. Similar qualities, but different. Now, this isn't the greatest metaphor, but regular visualization and daydreaming is like looking out the window. Lucid dreaming is like opening the window and sticking your head out. Out-of-body experience is like opening the window, climbing out, and walking around. And a full-blown astral projection is like being sucked out the window by a beam from aliens and transporting you halfway across the galaxy to an unknown location. Now, your subconscious knows better than you, okay? Well, why should it permit you to go to the astral? If you can't deal with things here, what makes you think you're going to be able to deal with things there? You're just going to freak the fuck out in fight or flight mode and either attack things or run from them. I don't care how boring you think your life is. You do have a purpose in this realm. The problem is that you've drifted away from your purpose. See, all the things that people get into the occult for, sex, money, power, none of that stuff makes them happy when they get it, if they're not on their purpose. You have to be on your purpose. If you're drifting, you'll never be happy. There's a lot of rich people that are absolutely miserable. You think that when you get these things, they're going to make you happy, and for a brief time they may, but these things in of themselves never create a lasting satisfaction. True happiness comes from finding your passion and purpose in life and doing that just for the sake of doing it. For some reason people think the occult and ceremonial magic is all going to be Harry Potter fun time. I don't know, does staring at a wall every day for 10 months on a single point and meditating on all the facets of that single point sound like fun to you? Ceremonial magic isn't for everyone. If all you're after is money, then I suggest follow Bob Proctor's teachings. He's going to teach you how to know what you want, focus on it, and go after it. If all you're after is sex, I suggest visiting RSD Tyler's page. He's going to show you that the reason you can't pick up women is because you're not grounded and centered in your own energy. If what you're wanting is to learn how to cast some spells, perhaps Wicca's a little more suited for you. Ceremonial magic is more about self-transformation, with an emphasis on conjuration. So Wicca may be more your style because it's less disciplined. I'm not saying it's worse, I'm just saying it's less disciplined. Because if you start the elemental grades and then quit halfway through, you're going to be in worse shape than when you started. You have to see it through. You have to have the discipline to do it every single day. If you don't think you can do that, then stay away from ceremonial magic. You can still listen to my channel, though. I'll give you some good stuff from time to time. But the thing is you need to find your passion. Whatever it is that you enjoy doing the most. And do that. And that's going to lead you where you want to go. Now, the book assignment I'm going to give you is a book called Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. He's the author of Think and Grow Rich that Bob Proctor's always going on about. Now, this book was controversial. It wasn't released until 2011, like 70 years after the guy was gone. And it is one of the most fascinating reads I've ever read. And he's going to explain why it's so important to have a purpose and why drifting leads to failure in life. There's a reason I had to focus on a single point every day for 10 months. See, how are you going to get from point A to point B, where you want to go, if you don't know what point A your passion is? Everything has a starting point. And speaking of points, we're coming to the end. But before I go, someone else had asked if I was going to provide examples of the rituals that I do. I wish I would have recorded Temple the other night because I know how you guys really enjoy the weird stuff, but I'm probably not going to do that anytime soon. I will, however, refer you to the book and course that I work from personally. It's called Kabbalah, Magic, and the Great Work of Self-Transformation by Liam Thomas Christopher. And it's a complete course from the neophyte to the portal grade on the length of time needed in each grade. He says 6 months, I say 10, one for each separat. You're like, 10 months in each grade. You got to have patience with this stuff. I wasn't ready in 6 months in each grade. And I'm a pretty quick learner. I have Moon in Gemini. And also the fact that I had a background in tarot, astrology, and hypnosis before I even got into magic. Because you're going to need to learn those things too. The only other thing I do differently from the book is the lesser banishing ritual of the hexagram. I use the traditional hexagrams and not the unicursal. Oh, and everything I was talking about, the Lover's card, is in the book. My conscious mind had forgotten about it, about reading about it, but my subconscious remembered, and it brought up the information to me and recalled it when I was working on that lesson there. I thought I was having some grand, insights into things, but I had already read that somewhere. And I just had totally forgotten about it consciously. But my subconscious recalled every part of that and even elaborated further on it. So yeah, it's kind of like that. But I'm out of time. I'll catch you next time. Got more stuff on the way on my path. But your path is your own. And I'm not talking left or right hand paths here. I'm talking about your own individual purpose and path. Now, if I'm able to help you along your path, and, great. If you feel the need to thank me, that's cool. But don't praise me, because I'm not worthy. I'm simply not worthy. I'm just a human being, same as you. The only reason that I may have a better perspective of the occult and these things is simply I've devoted more time to it. I've had a lot more time. It's almost full time for me. And as such, I'm just merely trying to save you time in understanding these things. Now, some of you may be familiar with the concept of the Holy Guardian Angel, the sphere of Taparith, and the higher self. And when you come into contact with that, it's going to tell you the same thing, for you to follow your passion and your purpose in life, in your own path. And the sooner you find your purpose and path, the better off you're going to be. Because around 40, 42, when Saturn and Uranus swing around to oppose themselves natally, you're going to get a kick in the butt if you're not on your path. Now, this is the cause of the midlife crisis. Why do you think I'm all of a sudden compelled to do these videos? Almost every single planet in my chart has a correspondence to the occult and higher learning. 2 planets in Scorpio, 3 in Sagittarius. So as much as I'd like to spend all my time on the occult and studying and practicing, I have to begin teaching as well and passing on what I know, because that's just simply part of my path. I can't get around that. I've tried. Following your purpose and passion is really your own individual path to success, as long as it's for the service of others and not simply for the self. So doing it just for the sake of doing it eliminates those lust for results that we had talked about previously is the surest way to keep your magic from happening. And this is why a lot of times those who do achieve a high degree of success ends up being destroyed by their success, because now they're focused on the results instead of their passion to begin with. Guns N' Roses is a great example of this. Before success, I heard that they walked like 100 miles just to make a gig with very, very few people because they didn't want to disappoint their fans. After success, a fan takes a picture of Axl Rose and he flips out, walks off stage mid-concert and causes a riot. Why is it that Slash has enjoyed a very successful career after Guns N' Roses, while Axl Rose takes over a decade to make a single album and it's not even really that good? Musical taste subjective.
What is the single biggest offer you've had to put it all behind you and get back on a stage together?
Well, I've heard a lot of numbers.
What's the most ridiculous?
I've never been, handed a specific offer, but it's in the
7 figures, 8 figures.
And the results.
Any check that would tempt you?
I don't think it's a matter of that. It really isn't. I think you've got a situation where nobody involved wants to revisit. It's not just me. It's the whole, the whole band. And so I don't think there's a price tag that anybody's going to put in front of us that's going to make that work.
See, it's not about the money for him. It's not about the results. It's about the passion of playing music and doing what he loves to do that gets him the results. In this backward society, we've all been trained to focus on the results. And it's not about that. It's not about that at all. They get us to focus on what we want out of life instead of just focusing on life itself. Don't focus on the fruit, focus on the tree, and the fruit will naturally come. If you focus solely on the fruit and neglect the tree will surely die and the fruit will never come. Now, hopefully you began reading Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. And all the links I give are relevant, even if you think they're not. R.S.D. Tyler's page, picking up women probably isn't your thing, or it may be, but you should watch his videos regardless, because it's going to show you how somebody on their path and purpose operates. It may not be your path, but you can learn a lot from somebody who is on their path. Birch Tree's Witch School page, really old school witch. I'm not Wiccan per se, but that doesn't mean I can't learn a lot from this guy. He's doing what he loves to do. He knows his correspondences. His specialty is brewing. In fact, I recommend that you get your oils and supplies from him if possible, because he takes these things into account. So you should watch his videos. He really knows his shit. Okay? But back to the book, Outwitting the Devil. Now, I don't know if Napoleon Hill actually had a conversation with, quote-unquote, the devil, But there were things in the book that really stood out to me. The most probably being when, quote unquote, the devil told Napoleon Hill that he was the negative half of the atom. The most probably being when, quote unquote, the devil told Napoleon Hill that he was the negative half of the atom. The most probably being when, quote unquote, the devil told Napoleon Hill that he was the negative half of the atom. Now, this is deeper knowledge that should not have been in the book. I want you to think of the implications of that. Okay? Because that would mean that duality is built into the very atomic structure of all things. And then you wonder why I focus and stress the importance of duality and polarity so much, like a broken record. And you hear, religious people saying, God is everywhere, God's in everything. Well, yeah, so is the darkness. And previously when I talked about how your environment can react to you, I want you to ponder that for a bit. But you really need to read the book, because we're going to be getting into a lot of that deeper stuff later. But don't freak out. Oh my God, there's knocks on the walls in response to my thoughts, and the environment's reacting to me. Oh shit. The deeper mysteries can literally drive you insane if you don't know how to handle them. So don't trip on it. Otherwise, you're just going to drive yourself nuts and won't be able to sleep. We will be covering all of that in due time. But for now, find your purpose and your path and simply focus on that. And I will see you next time. Take care.
In as many different ways. Admitted this truth in a dozen or more different ways. Why do you tantalize me by repeating the question? There is power in repetition. I'm forcing you to repeat the highlights of your confession in as many different ways as possible, so your victims may check this interview and determine its soundness by their own experiences with you. That is one of my little tricks. Do you approve of my method? You couldn't be setting a trap for me for the purpose of doing some more boasting, could you? I am asking the questions and you are doing the answering. Go ahead now and confess why you are powerless to stop me from forcing this confession from you. I want your confession for aid and comfort to victims of yours whom I intend to release from your control the moment they read your confession. I am powerless to influence or control you because you have found the secret approach to my kingdom. You know that I exist only in the minds of people who have fears. You know that I control only the drifters who neglect to use their own minds. You know that my hell is here on earth and not in the world that comes after death. And you know also that drifters supply all the fire I use in my hell. You know that I am a principle or form of energy which expresses the negative side of matter and energy, and that I am not a person with a forked tongue and a spiked tail. You have become my master because you have mastered all your fears. Lastly, you know that you can release all of my earthbound victims whom you contact, and this definite knowledge is the blow with which you will deal me the greatest damage. I cannot control you because you have discovered your own mind, and you have taken charge of it. There now, Mr. Earthbound, that confession.
On the shitty route.
Damage. I stand ridicule. Now let us... There now, Mr. Earthbound, that confession should feed your vanity to the bursting point. That last dart was unnecessary. Knowledge of the sort I have used to master you does not contaminate itself with vulgar indulgence and vanity. Truth is the one and only thing in the world that can stand ridicule. Now let us continue with your confession. What is wrong with the principle of flattery? You use it, do you not?
Okay, so, Raider, you heard a little bit of Napoleon Hill and his devil. And I'll be clear it up the hop, okay? I don't know what this devil is. I don't know how you received this information. This could be exactly what I talked about yesterday. So maybe Napoleon Hill came into all this information, and he wanted a good way to present it, since he's writing a book. In his book, He doesn't have to say it's true, it's false, fiction, non-fiction. You can just put it out there. And once again, this book wasn't released until Napoleon Hill was long dead. His wife had possession of it. She didn't release it. I think it was either his nephew or his son. I can't remember. I think I always get this confused with the Admiral Byrd story. So maybe it was his wife. I don't know. But it was like, I don't know, 30 years, 50 years after. It was very controversial. But if you listen to this interview, and I really strongly urge you to listen to, at the very least, the interview. But the beginning part of the story shows you how when he starts getting positive thought, he's in this negative feedback loop. He's in this negative fucking place where, he follows his negative emotions or negativity emotion fucking feelings, and he keeps going down these shitty rabbit holes. But then all of a sudden he gets this urge, and he gets himself out of that spot, and he starts doing good. And then the good ideas start multiplying in his head, and he gets success, but then something pulls him off of that, and then he goes down that rabbit hole again, and then he gets out of that a second time, and then he gets pulled down again. He gets out of that third time, and then he gets pulled down again. I think it's either 3 times he gets pulled down, and the 4th time is when he does this, or it's 2 times he got pulled down, and the 3rd time was whenever he did this. But, this could be just the way you decided to present it. Meaning, like I said yesterday, the guy who does the cry-on voice, or any person you've ever watched do a seance, or someone taking over their body, and whatever the case is, whatever they do, whatever they decide to do, like, and they make a whole new personification, it's because maybe they want to give the information. Maybe that is really how it happens. I don't know. But maybe it's, because, like, when they go Edgar Casey or Dolores Cannon, she'd put people in hypnosis and things would talk through them. That's different. These people are doing it without that. But you don't have to do that to get channeled information from the storehouse. You have a connection there, and like some people are born with a better, stronger connection, which and this is not to talk myself up, but I feel I have a stronger connection, because I've always had this ability since I was a kid to really, once I start down with one thought of an idea, I keep going down that thought pattern idea way, I keep going. It's like endless. Negative too, though. Go down one negative idea and it just snowballs too. But point is, maybe he decided to put it out there like this so that it would be interpreted better. But if you listen to it, you'll hear how the devil explains how he's the negative half of the atom, God's the positive half of the atom. He's like, people that are thinkers, he's like, there's no difference between somebody who just believes only in God or someone who believes only in the devil, or the people who are drifting, that don't know they're being consumed by the devil, versus the people that are going to church that only believe in God, that fear the devil. He's like, there's no difference. He's like, the people who think for themselves and use the thoughts and their own power are using the power of both of us to make what they want in the reality. Seriously, this whole thing is like a grimoire, but almost a curriculum, almost a teaching path of how to take back control of your mind, do mind magic, how to steer your thoughts. The devil literally says, when he's teaching kids what they should do at school, that they should accept or reject what other kids say to them, depending on if it's good or bad, basically. There's so much in there. It's so amazing. The devil literally goes through all the things that the kids should actually learn at school. He goes through how, and you'll hear this one after because it's one of the parts that I recorded, but goes through how the churches, if they stopped promoting the devil going to hell, if you do bad and go to heaven, you know what I mean? They would hurt him the most. It'd be one of the most hurtful things they could do. The only other thing is, if there's a thinker that comes on earth who thinks for themselves and teaches the generations how to do this shit properly, that would also hurt them. And how thinking is the most important thing you could probably do, is to think your own thoughts, and don't dwell on other people's thoughts, but do your own thinking for yourself. Figure out what's real for you, follow truth, blah, 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 blah. So, if anybody and the Thunder Wizard does promote critical thinking about certain topics and all that, which is great, but he doesn't like intellectual thinking about religion and all that shit. It's like, no, you really have to figure it out. You really have to do it. Thinking is like godly. your mind is so powerful. And I know people are going to say, well, there's two different minds and this and that. And yeah, but you know what I mean. You know what kind of mind I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the kind of mind that you put on things that you already watched that reinforce your beliefs. You're putting on shit that you really... You explore both sides of the story. Like, I didn't want to listen to this. Frederick Xavier had it as a fucking whatever. Had it as a assignment. It took me a while to do it. I'm not gonna lie. And I watched the next episode, and he explained how the devil was the negative half of the atom. And then later on, when he said it wasn't until I think it was the afterlife video, and I think it's part 2. He explains how there's 2 concepts of what happens when we die. One is from the book Napoleon Hill. Well, there's 2. He heard this one concept in 2 different places. And one spot was in the Napoleon Hill book, where the devil explains he's the negative half of the atom, and everybody who dies if they're in fear when they die, he absorbs them. If you die without fear, the love energy absorbs you, which makes sense, but there's only 2, scientists said there's only 2 emotions, love and fear. So, and then there's somewhere else that explains it like that, and it's like the negative half, the devil, half of the atom is like this cancer negativity emotion that absorbs everything. And anyways, and it's like the old Egyptian thing. Whenever the Egyptians died, they weighed their heart against a feather, and if you had a heavy heart, you got absorbed by, it was like this, I don't know if it was a hippopotamus or dragon or whatever, but that was the evil guy who absorbed you, or you went to the good side to get absorbed. So, but that's when I'm like, well, fuck, I gotta read that book. And then it blew me away. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't read it. I fucking listened to it. Well, I'll be honest, I read a lot, but I didn't read that book. I listened to it. It took me quite a while, too, because I'd fall asleep during it, but pieced it all together. So I got 2 parts I'm going to play here for you. But before I do that, I want to talk about Frederick Xavier's shit he said. So finding your path and purpose, and he talked about drifting, and that's why he talked about drifting, because it's in the book. When you start to drift, it can be, you can use Napoleon Hill's way. It's the devil tricking you to get you off your path and purpose. And, I think I have some recent examples of that happening in my life. When me and my wife's shit all hit the fucking fan, that put me in fear pretty hard. Took me off my path. Took me off being depolarized. Now, I don't necessarily think that was a bad thing. I think I was going in a different direction. And that might have been pulling me on to my purpose. Because what happened as a result of that was I was working at the last job I was working at, which I wasn't too happy working at, rotating shifts. And the job was great. The people were great. But the days, afternoons, nights thing was killing me, And as a result of it, my wife wouldn't see me that much because of my shift work. And on top of that, when I came home, I wanted time to do my own thing. So even whenever she was supposed to see me, she felt that I should give her all my time. But she's not wrong. I should have wanted to too, to a certain degree. And, it started fighting. So by that hardship, it brought me off, made me a little more polarized in my marriage, which needs to be, because Saturn is still in that house, even though he's trying to promote balance in all things. But it got me out of that job into this new line where I'm working days and I'm learning about at least construction, outside work. That's kind of what I like to do. I want to do that. I don't want to be stuck inside all the time and then come home and be stuck inside. If all winter long I'm outside working, and all summer long I'm outside working. I'm outside. You know what I mean? I'm loving life if I'm outside. So that's all good in the hood. So it brought me to that point. And there's been a lot of little things I've thought about it quite a few earlier. Nothing's coming to my head right now, but I've thought of quite a few earlier of these little things that would put me on my path, take me off my path, and certain things like, maybe I don't know if I'm supposed to be a healer or not or anything like that. I said before, I'm not against the idea that I have my ancestors here helping heal people, not necessarily me, but because they're my ancestors that come through me, and maybe my daughters, but like, after Sandy had her cancer, right, she got healed from the cancer was to never come back again, and all that. It was amazing. Everything worked out, right? Never any cancer again. Like, she had to have a little small part of the cyst removed. It was cancer, then it was no longer cancerous, which was amazing, but they removed it just in case. But because of removing that was the extra thing, we didn't have to. We could have just said, oh no, she's got no cancer, so we're good now. But we had it removed. And because of that, she wasn't supposed to have kids. So anyways, maybe that kind of healing thing, that miracle that happened, was supposed to wake me up. Who knows? Maybe it's supposed to wake both of us up. Who knows? It didn't. Kept working. Then all of a sudden, I have a fucking kid. My wife gets pregnant. I mean, I was supposed to get a vasectomy. I missed my appointment. They only rescheduled for a year. There's so many little things, right? And then we ended up having another kid when I wasn't even supposed to. When they said if she got pregnant by some miracle, she wouldn't carry full term. And not only did she get pregnant, she carried full fucking term. My baby's healthy. So, and then that's what started my path. So, who knows? Things lead you to the right spot. Once you're there, like I said, I was looking at all this fear-based shit and I had to get off it. But anyways, once you know about drifting and, whether the devil uses fear to keep you off your path, the way to master this devil, this negative half, this negativity, right? People want you to be in love and light, and that's a great philosophy if it was attainable, but it's not attainable. But what is attainable is if you can master your fears. If you can look your fears in the face and fucking master it and get some kind of control over it, whereas, obviously someone's pointing a gun at you, you're still going to be kind of scared. But if you understand that those circumstances are something that you can control within your mind. He says it, everything starts in the mind, because Napoleon Hill even asked the devil at one point, what's more important, the thoughts or the actions? He says, well, thought precedes action, follows thoughts, so they're both equally important. Sometimes you do one and the other one comes, it's a cycle. Not one is more important than the other, they're both necessary, right? Anyways, and he talks about how thoughts and emotion plus action, and it makes your desire and your will is how you, seriously, it really explains magic. There's parts in there about how bad smoking is for you too, because smoking leads you to drinking and a few other things and all that, which I smoke, but I don't drink. I don't smoke pot. I don't do anything else. It's kind of like a type of crutch that, I may not be doing opiates anymore, but at least I can do this for the time being just to stay away from other things. But anyways, so I'll play the next Napoleon Hill thing for you right now, but Frater's got some really, what you heard Frater said, I don't know if I have to really go over it or not, but, which is hard now because I'm not really thinking of it, but, in the second part he went over, it started off with the whole astral travel and all that, and then how to do something for the love of money. If you're doing something for the money, if you're trying to find your passion and purpose, but money is clouding you, and you're doing it for the money and not for just doing it for the passion because you're excited to do it, well, that will bring you to failure. But if you start doing your passion or purpose regardless of the money, just doing it because you want to do it, well, then the money will come as a byproduct. And that's something that, I don't think a lot of people understand. And I don't even think I understand it completely, but it's something I'm actively going to keep trying to understand in better clarity. See, and maybe that's one of the reasons I say, and I'm not trying to pretend like I'm some saint, because that's not the case, but maybe that's one of the reasons, and I'm saying it in this fucking, I'm actually saying it in a kind of a conceited way. Maybe that's the reason I say that I'm not doing this for the money, so I can kind of sound like, I'm not doing this to make money and all that, when maybe that's really my ulterior motive. I don't think so, but like I said before, I'd love it if this thing took off and it got popular. So I could make money and I didn't have to work anymore, and then I could really focus. If my full-time job was doing this, and I could focus on empowering people, doing one-on-ones with people as I can, okay, how far along are you in your transformation? Okay, what do you have questions with? Okay, you got the whole day with me. What do you want to know? Whatever, something like that. Fuck, if I could do that, shit, man, that'd be fucking sick. I'd love to do that. I'd fucking give anything to do that. Maybe I started doing magic so I could do that. I don't know. I just don't feel like it's right for me to do magic for that for some reason. So I got some programming in me I got to get rid of, because that's another thing I want to talk about. Frater talks about finding your passion and your purpose. But Birch, on the other hand, as a kid, he knew he wanted to be a public speaker. He had this knowing, right? I got this knowing that I'd love to fucking do this, that I want to do this. Maybe I don't feel ready for it. Maybe I don't feel entitled enough. Maybe there is like a bunch of shit that I got to work on before I get there. And that's kind of this process. So I'm just going to keep following the process until I get that, whatever. It's like, okay, Corey, you're ready. Start doing the magic for it. Then I'll do it. But like Birch, he programmed himself to be a public speaker. And I know all about programming myself. I've done that many times. Anyways, so, and maybe that's something. If you have this inner knowing of what you want to do, and you know, well, program yourself for it. And he said he used tape recorders, and timers, about the only electronics they had at that time. And it worked. So that'll still work today. And then he gives you a bunch of fancy ways to do it. Magick 101. I played that so many times. So many times, I don't know why I can't play it again. But seriously, go to bed with your affirmations on a recorder saying that you're fucking grateful for what you fucking are, as if you already are. Listen to that shit every night to get the programming in your head. Do spell work, do sigils, do everything I've ever taught you for whatever the fuck it is you want to be. You do that every night, you'll become it. I'm not joking. That's what I do to get the money. That's what I've done to get the healing. That's what I've done to stay home every time I need to stay home longer. I've done those things, and they've always worked. So maybe it is time for me to do that. Maybe it's a leap of faith. Maybe I'm just not sure of myself. Maybe I got a little bit of fear. It's that fucking devil there, that negative part of the Adam saying, yeah, you're not worth it, Corey. Why would you deserve that, you know? And it's like, well, I don't know. But there's only one way to fucking find out. It's just to go for it. Anyways, I'd like to break down more of the Napoleon Hill thing, and if I can, I will, but I'm probably just going to play the next two pieces for you. And seriously, I would say, if you're not going to listen to the whole thing, like the whole 3 hours and whatever time it is for just the interview of the devil, I listen to the whole fucking book. But a must is to listen to the interview with the devil. And I'm telling you, now break it up. Don't do it all at once if you can't. Do half an hour if you have to. Or an hour. I think it's 3 hours and 42 minutes for the whole interview. But I'm telling you, depending on where you are in your spirituality, whether you're a beginner, you're going to find some fucking crazy shit in there. If you're medium adept, you're going to find some crazy shit in there that's going to fucking dumbfound you. Like, this is probably, like, I don't even know. Like, the 30th time, if you look at my podcast, man, I've went over this stuff again and again. I played it on my podcast. I played clips of it. I've talked about it so many times, and I got some more understandings from it today. And I think one of my last podcasts was, first time I listened to Napoleon Hill, I thought I was stuck in hypnotic rhythm, which is what nature does, which means if you can master hypnotic rhythm, it's basically programming yourself. Hypnotic rhythm means if you dwell on certain thoughts, well, if you do that for too long of time, nature takes over, and that becomes your programming, and it's almost irreversible. Unless the only thing you can reverse it by is if you have this really strong will to fucking say, fuck it, I'm done with living this life, I'm not taking this anymore, there's got to be a better way. Somehow that can break you out of it. But for the most part, when someone's in there, they're too deep, and that doesn't work for the devil. But you can use it to your benefit by focusing on what you want all the time. You turn that into the hypnotic, the hypnotic rhythm, and it will also propel you to new heights. So I mean, there's so much in this. It's so fucking important, and it's up to you. It's your transformation. It's your fucking life. It's you that wants to transform. But I'm telling you, if you're polarized, if you think there's other entities out there, you think there's bad and good in the spiritual battle, you need to listen to this, okay? And this might reinforce it in your head that, holy fuck, the devil is the negative half of all the fucking atoms, blah, 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 blah. And that's fine. Go with that. But if you listen to the whole thing, you find out how to beat it. You find out how to become on top of it. You find out how to become the master of that. It's by mastering your fears. But listen to it. Don't take my fucking word for it. Fucking listen to it. I swear to God. I don't know how to fucking emphasize it anymore because I know the majority of the people are not going to listen to it. I know that already. But, Jesus. Seriously. Don't listen to it. Whatever. It's going to be your fucking COVID fucking funeral. No, that's just my attempt to try to get you to fucking listen to it. And that's dirty. I shouldn't do shit like that. But seriously. You want to fucking master your mind. You want to master magic. You want to master spells. You want to master healing. Anything. If you listen to this, there's so many helpful advices in there. And not to mention that if you don't understand it now, it's fine. You'll come to an understanding later. You'll listen to it again and again and again. I guarantee you. It's just too... Especially if you have Christian programming, hearing the devil talk and saying, I'm not a fucking being. There's no such thing as hell, but I'm a real thing. And, you know, maybe the negative part of the atom never had this identity. And I'm not saying this is real or fake, but just to throw a hypothesis out there, if you will. If that negative atom never had an identity, and all of a sudden Christianity comes along and says, hey, God, and the devil, but there's nowhere for those identities. So what happens? Well, the positive part of every atom and every fucking thing, including your body, is God. The negative part is the devil. So they get the personifications we give them. And now there is a being there. And that being has evolved over time. And when you start dwelling on negativity, he's going to make it worse for you. And when you start dwelling on positivity, God makes it better for you. And there's also the middle path, because in every atom, you got a proton, neutron, and an electron. Neutron's neutral, baby. So for everybody saying the middle path, you shouldn't be in the middle, blah, 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 that's bullshit. That's bullshit, because the proton and the neutron are always together. The electron's on the outside, trying to find a way in. But anyways, if you didn't get my point, listen to the Napoleon Hill thing. At the very least, go through Frederick Xavier. You already heard Frederick Xavier tell you really got to listen to it. And I'm saying the same thing. You really got to listen to it. So fucking listen to it. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. I told you it was going to be smaller than this, but it's longer. So what am I going to do? My bad. Have a great fucking day, y'all.
By which I can pick up your thoughts. I have come to ask you some very plain questions. I demand that you give me direct and truthful answers. Are you ready for the interview, Mr. Devil?
Yes, I am. But you must address me with more respect. During this interview, you will address me as Your Majesty.
By what right do you demand such royal respect?
You should know I control 98% of the people of your world. Do you not think that entitles me to rate as royalty?
Have you proof of your claim?
Yes, plenty of it.
Of what does your proof consist?
Of many things. If you want answers, you will address me as Your Majesty. Some things you will understand, some you will not. In order that you may get my viewpoint, I shall describe myself and correct the false notions people have of me and my place of abode.
That is a fine idea, Your Majesty. Start by telling me where you live, then describe your physical appearance.
My physical appearance? Why, my dear Mr. Earthbound, I have no physical body. I would be handicapped by such an encumbrance as those in which you earthbound creatures live. I consist of negative energy, and I live in the minds of people who fear me. I also occupy 1/2 of every atom of physical matter and every unit of mental and physical energy. Perhaps you will better understand my nature if I tell you I am the negative portion of the atom.
Oh, I see what you are preparing to claim. You were laying the foundation to say that if it were not for you, there would be no world, no stars, no... Nothing. Is that correct?
My physical appearance? Why, my dear Mr. Earthbound, I have no physical body. I would be handicapped by such an encumbrance as those in which you earthbound creatures live. I consist of negative energy, and I live in the minds of people who fear me. I also occupy 1/2 of every atom of physical matter and every unit of mental and physical energy. Perhaps you will better understand my nature if I tell you I am the negative portion of the atom.
Oh, I see what you are preparing to claim. You were laying the foundation to say that if it were not for you, there would be no world, no stars, no electrons, no atoms, no human beings, nothing. Is that correct?
True. Absolutely true.
Well, if you only occupy 1/2 of energy and matter, who occupies the other half?
The other half is occupied by my opposition.
Opposition? What do you mean?
The opposition is what you earthbound call God.
So you have the universe divided up with God. Is that your claim?
Not my claim, but the actual fact. Before this interview is finished, you will understand why my claim is true. You will also understand why it has to be true, or there could be no world such as yours, no earthbound creatures such as you. I am no beast with a forked tongue and a spiked tail.
But you do control the minds of 98 out of every 100 people. You said so yourself. Who causes all the misery in this 98% devil-controlled world if you do not?
I have not said that I do not cause all the misery of the world. On the other hand, I boast of it. It is my business to represent the negative side of everything, including the thoughts of you earthbound people. How else could I control people? My opposition controls positive thought.
I control negative thought.
How do you gain control of the minds of people?
Oh, that is easy. I merely move in and occupy the unused space of the human brain. I sow the seeds of negative thought in the minds of people so I can occupy and control the space.
You must have many tricks and devices by which you gain and hold control of the human mind.
To be sure, I employ tricks and devices to control human thought. My devices are clever ones, too.
Go ahead and describe your clever tricks, Your Majesty.
One of my cleverest devices for mind control is fear. I plant the seed of fear in the minds of people, and as these seeds germinate and grow, through use, I control the space they occupy. The 6 most effective fears are the fear of poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death.
Which of these 6 fears serves you most often, Your Majesty?
The first and the last, poverty and death. At one time or another during life, I tighten my grip on all people through one or both of these. I plant these fears in the minds of people so deftly that they believe them to be their own creation. I accomplish this end by making people believe I am standing just beyond the entrance gate of the next life, waiting to claim them after death for eternal punishment. Of course, I cannot punish anyone, except in that person's own mind, through some form of fear. But fear of the thing which does not exist is just as useful to me as fear of that which does exist. All forms of fear extend the space I occupy in the human mind.
Your Majesty, will you explain how you gained this control over human beings?
The story is too long to be told in a few words. It began over 1 million years ago when the first man began to think. Up to that time, I had control over all mankind, but enemies of mine discovered the power of positive thought, placed it in the minds of men, and then began a battle on my part to remain in control. So far, I have done quite well by myself, having lost only 2% of the people to the opposition.
I take it from your answer that men who think are your enemies. Is that right?
It is not right, but it is correct.
Tell me something more about the world in which you live.
I live wherever I choose. Time and space do not exist for me. I am a force best described to you as energy. My favorite physical dwelling place, as I have told you, is in the minds of the earthbound. I control a part of the brain space of every human being. The amount of space I occupy in each individual's mind depends upon how little and what sort of thinking that person does. As I have told you, I cannot entirely control any person who thinks.
You speak of your opposition. Just what do you mean by that?
My opponent controls all the positive forces of the world, such as love, faith, hope, and optimism. My opponent also controls the positive factors of all natural law throughout the universe, the forces which keep the Earth and the planets and all the stars balanced in their courses. But these forces are meek in comparison with those which operate in the human mind under my control. You see, I do not seek to control stars and planets. I prefer the control of human minds.
Where did you acquire your power? And by what means do you add to it?
I add to my power by appropriating the mind power of the earthbound as they come through the gate at the time of death. 98 out of every 100 who come back to my plane from the earth plane are taken over by me, and their mind power is added to my being. I get all who come over with any form of fear. You see, I am constantly at work, preparing the minds of people before death, so I can appropriate them when they come back to my plane.
Will you tell me how you go about your job of preparing human minds so you can control them?
I have countless ways of gaining control of human minds while they are still on the earth plane. My greatest weapon is poverty. I deliberately discourage people from accumulating material wealth because poverty discourages men from thinking and makes them easy prey for me. My next best friend is ill health. An unhealthy body discourages thinking. Then I have countless thousands of workers on Earth who aid me in gaining control of human minds. I have these agents placed in every calling. They represent every race and creed, every religion.
Who are your greatest enemies on Earth, Your Majesty?
All who inspire people to think and act on their own initiative are my enemies. Such men as inspire people to think. Are my enemy.
religion.
Who are your greatest enemies on Earth, Your Majesty?
All who inspire people to think and act on their own initiative are my enemies. Such men as Socrates, Confucius, Voltaire, Emerson, Thomas Paine, and Abraham Lincoln. And you are not doing me any good either.
Is it true that you use men who have great wealth?
As I have already told you, poverty is always my friend because it discourages independence of thought and encourages fear in the minds of men. Some wealthy men serve my cause, while others do me great damage, depending on how the wealth is used. The great Rockefeller fortune, for example, is one of my worst enemies.
That is interesting, Your Majesty. Will you tell me why you fear the Rockefeller fortune more than others?
The Rockefeller money is being used to isolate and conquer diseases of the physical body in all parts of the world. Disease has always been one of my most effective weapons. The fear of ill health is second only to the fear of poverty. The Rockefeller money is uncovering new secrets of nature in 100 different directions, all of which are designed to help men take and keep possession of their own minds. It is encouraging new and better methods of feeding, clothing, and housing people. It is wiping out the slums in the large cities, the places where my favorite allies are found. It is financing campaigns for better government and helping to wipe out dishonesty in politics. It is helping to set higher standards in business practice and encouraging businessmen to conduct business by the golden rule. And that is not doing my cause any good.
What about these boys and girls who are said to be on the road to hell? Are you in control of them?
Well, I can answer that question only with yes and no. I have corrupted the minds of the young by teaching them to drink and smoke. But they have me baffled through their tendency to think for themselves.
You say you have corrupted the minds of the young people with liquor and cigarettes. I can understand how liquor might destroy the power of independent thought, but do not see what cigarettes have to do with helping your cause.
You may not know it, but cigarettes break down the power of persistence. They destroy the power of endurance. They destroy the ability to concentrate. They deaden and undermine the imaginative faculty, and help in other ways to keep people from using their minds most effectively. Do you know I have millions of people, young and old of both sexes, who smoke 2 packages of cigarettes a day? That means I have millions of people who are gradually destroying their power of resistance. One day I shall add to their habit of cigarette smoking other thought-destroying habits, until I shall have gained control of their minds. Habits come in pairs, triplets, and quadruplets. Any habit which weakens one's willpower invites a flock of its relatives to move in and take possession of the mind. The cigarette habit not only lowers the power of resistance and discourages persistence, but it invites looseness in other human relationships.
I never thought that cigarettes were a tool of destruction, Your Majesty, but your explanation throws a different light on the subject. How many converts to the habit do you now claim?
I am proud of my record. Millions are now victims, and the number is increasing daily. Soon I shall have most of the world indulging in the habit. In thousands of families, I now have followers of the habit, including every member of the family. Very young boys and girls are beginning to take up the habit. They are learning how to smoke by observing their parents and older brothers and sisters.
Which do you consider to be your greater tool for gaining control of human minds, cigarettes or liquor?
Without hesitation, I would say cigarettes. Once I get a young person to join my 2-package-a-day club, I have no trouble in inducing that person to take on the habit of liquor, overindulgence of sex, and all other related habits which destroy independence of thought and action.
Your Majesty, when I began this interview, I had you all wrong. I thought you were a fraud and a fake, but I see now that you are quite real and very powerful.
Your apology is accepted, but you need not have bothered. Millions of people have questioned my power, and I got most of them at the gate as they came over. I ask no person to believe in me. I prefer that people fear me. I am no beggar. I take what I want by cleverness and force. Begging people to believe is the business of my opposition, not mine.
Your Majesty will please pardon my rudeness, but I would not be able to look myself in the face again if I did not tell you, here and now, that you are the damnedest fiend ever to be turned loose on innocent people. I always had the wrong conception of you. I thought you were kind enough to let people alone while they were living, that you merely tortured their souls after death. Now I learn from your own brazen confession that you destroy their right to freedom of thought and cause them to go through a living hell on earth. What do you have to say to that? I get what I want by exercising self-control. It is not so good for my own business, but I suggest you emulate me instead of criticizing me. You call yourself a thinker, and you are. Otherwise, you would never have forced this interview on me. But you will never be the sort of thinker that frightens me unless you gain and exercise greater control over your own emotions. Let us get away from personalities. I came here to learn more about you, not to discuss myself. Please go ahead and tell me of the many tricks you have devised for gaining control of the human mind. What is your most powerful weapon just now? That is a difficult question to answer. I have so many devices for entering human minds and controlling them that it is difficult to say which are the most powerful. Right at the moment, I am trying to bring about another world war. My friends here in Washington are helping me to involve America in the war. If I can start the world to killing on a wholesale basis, I shall be able to put into operation my favorite device for mind control. It is what you call mass fear. I used this device to bring about the other world war in 1914. I used it to bring about the economic depression in 1929. And if my opposition had not double-crossed me, I would now be in possession of every man, woman, and child in the world. You can see for yourself how near I came to world domination. The thing I have been struggling to attain for thousands of years. Yes, I see your point. Who wouldn't? You are a very ingenious manipulator of the minds of people. Is your devilish business carried on only through people of high position and great influence? Oh, no. I use the minds of people in all walks of life. As a matter of fact, I prefer the type of person who makes no pretense of thinking. I can manipulate that sort of person without difficulty. I could not control 98% of the people of the world if all people were skilled in thinking for themselves. I'm interested in the welfare of those people whom you claim to control. Therefore, I wish you to tell me all of the tricks by which you enter and control their minds. I want a complete confession from you, so begin with your cleverest trick. This is suicide you are forcing on me, but I am helpless. So settle down, and I will place in your hands the weapon by which millions of your fellow Earthbound will defend themselves against me. Tell me first about your most clever trick, the one you use to ensnare the greatest number of people. If you force me to give away this secret, it will mean my loss of millions of people now living, and still greater numbers of millions as yet unborn. I beg of you, permit me to pass this one question unanswered. So His Majesty the Devil fears a mere humble earthbound creature? Is that right? It is not right, but it is true. You have no right to rob me of my most necessary tool of trade. For millions of years I have dominated earthbound creatures through fear and ignorance. Now you come along and would destroy my use of these weapons by forcing me to tell how I use them. Do you not realize that you will break my grip on every person who heeds this confession you are forcing from me? Have you no mercy? Have you no sense of humor? Have you no sportsmanship? Stop stalling and start confessing. Who are you to ask mercy of one whom you would destroy if you could? Who are you to talk of sportsmanship and a sense of humor? You, who by your own confession have set up a living hell on earth, where you punish innocent people through their fears and ignorance. As for minding my own business, that is just what I'm doing when I force you to tell how you control people through their own minds. My business, if it can be called a business, is helping to unlock the doors of the self-made prisons in which men and women are confined because of the fears you have planted in their minds. My greatest weapon over human beings consists of two secret principles by which I gain control of their minds. I will speak first of the principle of habit, through which I silently enter the minds of people. By operating through this principle, I establish, I wish I could avoid using this word, the habit of drifting. When a person begins to drift on any subject, he is headed straight toward the gates of what you earthbound call hell. Describe all the ways in which you induce people to drift. Define the word and tell us exactly what you mean by it. I can best define the word drift by saying that people who think for themselves never drift, while those who do little or no thinking for themselves are drifters. A drifter is one who permits himself to be influenced and controlled by circumstances outside of his own mind. He would rather let me occupy his mind and do his thinking than go to the trouble of thinking for himself. A drifter is one who accepts whatever life throws in his way without making a protest or putting up a fight. He doesn't know what he wants from life and spends all of his time getting just that. A drifter has lots of opinions, but they are not his own. Most of them are supplied by me. A drifter is one who is too lazy mentally to use his own brain. That is the reason I can take control of people's thinking and plant my own ideas in their minds.
I think I understand what a drifter is. Tell me the exact habits of people by which you induce them to drift through life. Start by telling me when and how you first gained control of a person's mind.
My control over the mind of a human being is obtained while the person is young. Sometimes I lay the foundation for my control of a mind before the owner of it is born, by manipulating the minds of that person's parents. Sometimes I go further back than this and prepare people for my control through what you earthbound call physical heredity. You see, therefore, I have two approaches to the mind of a person.
Yes. Go on and describe these two doors by which you enter and control the minds of human beings.
As I have stated, I help to bring people into your world with weak brains by giving to them before birth as many as possible of the weaknesses of their ancestors. You call this principle physical heredity. After people are born, I make use of what you earthbound call environment as a means of controlling them. This is where the principle of habit enters. The mind is nothing more than the sum total of one's habits. One by one, I enter the mind and establish habits, which lead finally to my absolute domination of the mind. Opposition is the thing that keeps some people from drifting, providing they do not yield people out of their wits. People who give over their minds.
What use individuals to help you gain control over others? I want to know something of the most effective way you use hypnotic rhythm.
Oh, that is easy. The thing I like best is to fill the minds of people with fear. Once I fill one's mind with fear, I have little trouble causing him to drift until I have entangled him in the web of hypnotic rhythm.
What human fear best serves your purpose?
The fear of death.
Why is the fear of death your favorite weapon?
Because no one knows, and by the very nature of the laws of the universe, no one can prove definitely what happens after death. This uncertainty frightens people out of their wits. People who give over their minds to fear, any sort of fear, neglect to use their minds and begin to drift. Eventually, they drift into the whirlpool of hypnotic rhythm, from which they may never escape.
Then you do not mind what religious leaders think or say of you when they speak of death?
Not as long as they say something. If the churches should stop talking about me, my cause would receive a severe setback. Every attack made against me fixes the fear of me in the minds of all who are influenced by it. You see, opposition is the thing that keeps some people from drifting, providing they do not yield to it.
Since you claim the churches help instead of hindering your cause, tell me what would give you cause to worry.
My only worry is that someday a real thinker may appear on Earth.
What would happen if a thinker did appear?
You ask me what would happen. I'll tell you what would happen. People would learn the greatest of all truths, that the time they spend in fearing something would, if reversed, give them all they want in the material world and save them from me after death. Isn't that worth thinking about?
What is keeping such a thinker from appearing in the world?
Fear of criticism. It may interest you to know that the fear of criticism is the only effective weapon I have with which to whip you. If you were not afraid to publish this confession after you wring it from me, I would lose my earthly kingdom.
And if I did surprise you and publish it, how long would it be until you lost your kingdom?
Just long enough for one generation of children to grow into understanding. You cannot take the adults from me. I have them too securely sewed up. But if you published this confession, it would be sufficient to keep me from gaining control of the yet unborn and those who have not yet reached the age of reason. You wouldn't dare publish what I have told you about the religious leaders. They would crucify you.
I thought the savage practice of crucifixion went out of style 2,000 years ago.
I don't mean crucifixion on a cross. I mean social and financial crucifixion. Your income would be shut off. You would become a social outcast. Religious leaders and their followers alike would treat you with scorn. Suppose I should choose to throw in my lot with the select few who make a pretense of using their own minds rather than fear the masses who do not. The masses of whom you claim 98%.
If you have courage enough to do this, you will crimp my style.
Why do you lay claim to no scientist? Don't you like scientists?
Oh, yes. I like all people well enough. But true scientists are out of my reach.
Why?
Because they think for themselves and spend their time studying natural laws. They deal with cause and effect. They deal with facts wherever they find them. But do not make the mistake of believing scientists have no religion. They have a very definite religion.
What is their religion?
The religion of truth. The religion of natural law. If the world ever produces an accurate thinker with ability to fathom the deeply buried secret of life and death, you can be sure that science will be responsible for the catastrophe.
Catastrophe to whom?
To me, of course.
Let's get back to the subject of hypnotic rhythm. I want to know more about it. Is it something like the principle through which people can hypnotize one another?
It is precisely the same thing. I have already told you so. Why do you repeat your questions?
That is an old worldly custom of mine, Your Majesty. For your enlightenment, I will tell you, I am forcing you to repeat many of your statements for the sake of emphasis. I'm also trying to see if I can catch you in a lie. Don't dodge the issue. Get back to hypnotic rhythm and tell me all you know about it. Am I a victim of it?
Not now, but you barely missed falling into my web. You drifted toward the whirlpool of hypnotic rhythm until you discovered how to force me into making this confession. Then I lost control of you.
How interesting. You are not trying to recapture me through flattery, are you?
That would be the best bribe I could offer you. It is the bribe I used on you effectively before you got the upper hand of me.
With what did you flatter me?
With many things. Chief among them, sex and the desire for self-expression.
What effect did your bribes have on me?
They caused you to neglect your major purpose in life and started you to drifting.
Was that all you did to me through your bribes?
That was plenty.
But I am back on the track and out of your reach now, am I not?
Yes, you are temporarily out of my reach because you are not drifting.
What broke your spell over me and released me from the habit of drifting?
My answer may humiliate you. Do you want to hear it?
Go ahead and give it to me, Your Majesty. I wish to learn how much truth I can stand.
When you found a great love in the woman of your choice, I lost my grip on you.
So you are going to accuse me of hiding behind a woman's skirts, are you?
No, not hiding. I wouldn't put it that way. I would say you have learned how to give yourself a solid background with the embellishment of a woman's mind.
The woman's skirt has nothing to do with it then?
No, but her brain does. When you and your wife began to combine your two brains through your habit of masterminding every day, you stumbled upon the secret power with which you forced me into this confession.
Is that the truth, or are you trying to flatter me again?
I could flatter you if I had you alone, but I cannot flatter you while you have the use of your wife's mind.
I'm beginning to catch on to something important. I'm beginning to understand what was meant by the writer of that passage in the Bible, which says substantially, when two or more meet together and ask for anything in my name, it shall be granted. It is true, then, that two minds are better than one.
It is not only true, it is necessary before anyone can continuously contact the great storehouse of infinite intelligence, wherein is stored all that is, all that ever was, and all that can ever be.
Is there such a storehouse?
If there had not been, you would not, could not, now be humiliating me with this silly forced confession.
Isn't it dangerous to give this sort of information to the world?
Sure, it is dangerous to me. If I were you, I would not give it out.
Let us get back now to the technique through which you fasten on your victims the habit of drifting. What is the very first step a drifter must take to break the habit?
A burning desire to break it. You, of course, know that no one can be hypnotized by another person without his willingness to be hypnotized. Neither can nature place one under the spell of hypnotic rhythm without his willingness to be hypnotized. The willingness may assume the form of indifference toward life generally, lack of ambition, fear, lack of definiteness of purpose, and many other forms. Nature does not need one's consent in order to place him under the spell of hypnotic rhythm. It needs only to find him off guard through any form of neglect to use his own mind. Remember this. Whatever you have, you use it or you lose it.
All successful attempts to break the habit of drifting must be done before nature makes the habit permanent through hypnotic rhythm.
As I understand you, hypnotic rhythm is a natural law through which nature fixes the vibration of all environments. Is that true?
Yes. Nature uses hypnotic rhythm to make one's dominating thoughts and one's thought habits permanent. That is why poverty is a disease. Nature makes it so by fixing permanently the thought habits of all who accept poverty as an unavoidable circumstance. Through this same law of hypnotic rhythm, nature will also fix permanently positive thoughts of opulence and prosperity. Perhaps you will better understand the working principle of hypnotic rhythm if I tell you its nature is to fix permanently all habits, whether they are mental or physical. If your mind fears poverty, your mind will attract poverty. If your mind demands opulence and expects it, your mind will attract the physical and financial equivalents of opulence. This is in accordance with an immutable law of nature.
Did the writer of that sentence in the Bible, "Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap," have in mind this law of nature?
He could have nothing else in mind. The statement is true. You can see evidence of its truth in all human relationships.
And that is why the man who forms the habit of drifting through life must accept whatever life hands him. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. Life pays the drifter its own price on its own terms. The non-drifter makes life pay on his own terms.
Doesn't the question of morals enter into what one gets from life?
To be sure, but only for the reason that one's morals have an influence on one's thoughts. No one can collect what he wants from life merely by being good, if that is what you want to know.
No, I guess not. I see what you mean. We are all where we are and what we are because of our own deeds.
No, not exactly. You are where you are and what you are because of your thoughts and your deeds.
Then there is no such reality as luck, is there?
Emphatically no. Circumstances which people do not understand are classified under the heading of luck. Back of every reality is a cause. Often the cause is so far removed from the effect that the circumstance can be explained only by attributing it to the operation of luck. Nature knows no such law as luck. It is a man-made hypothesis with which he explains away things he does not understand. The terms luck and miracle are twin sisters. Neither of them has any real existence except in the imaginations of people. Both are used to explain that which people do not understand. Remember this: everything having a real existence is capable of proof. Keep this one truth in mind, and you will become a sounder thinker.
Which is more important, one's thoughts or one's deeds?
All deeds follow thoughts. There can be no deeds without their having first been patterned in thought. Moreover, all thoughts have a tendency to clothe themselves in their physical counterpart. One's dominating thoughts, that is, the thoughts one mixes with the emotions, desire, hope, faith, fear, hate, greed, enthusiasm, not only have a tendency to clothe themselves in their physical equivalent, but they are bound to do so.
That reminds me to ask you to tell me more about yourself. Where, in addition to the minds of people, do you dwell and operate?
I operate wherever there is something I can control and appropriate. I have already told you I am the negative portion of the electron of matter. I am the explosion in lightning. I am the pain in disease and physical suffering. I am the unseen general in warfare. I am the unknown commissioner of poverty and famine. I am the executioner extraordinary at death. I am the inspirer of lust after the flesh. I am the creator of jealousy and envy and greed. I am the instigator of fear. I am the genius who converts the achievements of men of science into instruments of death. I am the destroyer of harmony in all manner of human relationships. I am the antithesis of justice. I am the driving force in all immorality. I am the stalemate of all good. I am anxiety, suspense, superstition, and insanity. I am the destroyer of hope and faith. I am the inspirer of destructive gossip and scandal. I am the discourager of free and independent thought. In brief, I am the creator of all forms of human misery, the instigator of discouragement and disappointment.
And you do not call that cold and cruel?
I call that definite and dependable. The World Depression broke up the habits of men everywhere and redistributed the sources of opportunity in all walks of life on an unprecedented scale. The drifter's pet alibi, with which he tries to explain away his undesirable position, is his cry that the world has run dry of opportunities. Non-drifters do not wait for opportunity to be placed in their way. They create opportunity to fit their desires and demands of life. Are non-drifters smart enough to avoid the influence of hypnotic rhythm? No one is smart enough to dodge the influence of hypnotic rhythm. One could just as easily avoid the influence of the law of gravity. The law of hypnotic rhythm fixes permanently the dominating thoughts of men, whether they be drifters or non-drifters. There is no reason why a non-drifter would want to avoid the influence of hypnotic rhythm, because that law is favorable to him. It helps him convert his dominating aims, plans, and purposes into their physical replicas. It fixes his habits of thought and makes them permanent. Only the drifter would wish to dodge the influence of hypnotic rhythm. For the better portion of my adult life, I have been a drifter. How did I manage to escape being swept into the whirlpool of hypnotic rhythm? You haven't escaped. The major portion of your dominating thoughts and desires since you reached adulthood has been a well-defined, definite desire to understand all the potentialities of the mind. You may have drifted on thoughts of lesser importance, but you did not drift in connection with this desire. Because you did not drift, you are now recording a document which gives you exactly what your dominating thoughts demanded of life. Why doesn't your opposition use hypnotic rhythm to make permanent one's higher thoughts and nobler deeds? Why does your opposition permit you to use this stupendous force as a means of entangling people in a web of evil, spun by their own thoughts and deeds? Why does your opposition not outwit you by binding people with thoughts which build and lift them above your influence? The law of hypnotic rhythm is available to all who will use it. I make use of it more effectively than does my opposition, because I offer people more attractive bribes to think my sort of thoughts and indulge in my sort of deeds. In other words, you control people by making negative thinking and destructive deeds pleasing to them. Is that correct? That is the idea exactly. I've often wondered why your opposition, what we Earthbound call God, does not annihilate you. Can you tell me why? Because the power is as much mine as his. It is as available to me as to him. That is what I have been trying to get over to you. The highest power in the universe can be used for constructive purposes, through what you call God. Or it can be used for negative purposes, through what you call the devil. And something more important still, it can be used by any human being just as effectively as by God or the devil. You make a far-reaching claim. Can you prove your claim? Yes, but it would be better if you proved it for yourself. The devil's word is not worth much among your earthbound sinners. Neither is God's word. You fear the devil and refuse to trust your God. Therefore, you have but one source available through which you may appropriate the benefits of universal power, and that is by trusting and using your own power of thought. This is the direct road to the universal storehouse of infinite intelligence. There is no other road available to any human being. Why have we Earthbound not found the road to infinite intelligence sooner? Because I have intercepted you and led you off the path by planting in your minds thoughts which destroy your power to use your minds constructively. I have made it attractive to you to use the power of infinite intelligence to attain negative ends through greed, avarice, lust, envy, and hatred. Remember, your mind attracts that which your mind dwells upon. To divert you away from my opposition, I had only to feed you on thoughts helpful to my cause. If I understand what you are saying, you are admitting that no human being need fear the devil or worry about how to flatter God. That is it precisely. This admission may put a crimp in my style, but I have the satisfaction of knowing it may also slow down my opposition by sending people direct to the source of all power. In other words, if you cannot control people through negative bribes or fear, then you wish to kick over the entire apple cart and show people how to go around God. Are you by any chance in politics too? Your technique seems frightfully familiar. Am I in politics? If I am not in politics, who do you believe starts depressions and forces people into wars? Surely you would not lay this at the door of my opposition. As I have already told you, I have allies in all walks of life to help me in connection with all human relationships.
Why don't you take over the churches and use them outright in your cause?
Do you think I am a fool? Who would keep alive the fear of the devil if I subdued the churches? Who would serve as a decoy to attract the attention of people while I manipulate their minds if I did not have some agency through which to sow the seeds of fear and doubt? The cleverest thing I do is to use the allies of my opposition to keep the fear of hell burning in the minds of people. As long as people fear something, no matter what, I will keep a grip on them.
I'm beginning to see your scheme. You use the churches to plant the seed of fear and uncertainty and indefiniteness in the minds of people. These negative states of mind cause people to form the habit of drifting. This habit crystallizes into permanency through the law of hypnosis.